this big gigantic couch and every subscriber is sitting on it and we're just like watching TV together and hanging out, and I want that to feel this way. Okay, next up, going back, following up again, this time with Ddaeng. I went through with Ddaeng and I listened to the music, I read the lyrics. I thought I got a pretty good idea of what it was about, but I go a little deeper. We have Ddaeng explained by a Korean. This is DK TV. Give you the screen here. All right, let me get my audio situated here. Now, hopefully this will give us a better idea, give me a better idea of the deeper cultural references that I know I didn't get when I dug in myself. What?
Okay, I know you wanted this, so here we are. The rap line of BTS, RM, J-Hope, and Suga dropped a hip-hop track recently on their SoundCloud called Ddaeng. It's a song that has an oriental and trap beat at the same time, and it's also a diss track sending messages to their haters. But the wordplay inside it is just amazing. For example, the title Ddaeng itself is used in multiple ways throughout the whole song. 18, 13, 38. These are all card combinations that come from a Korean card game called 섰다 or hwatu.
잠깐. 굿땡이요?
Simply think of them as the best combinations you can get during a game. For example, 3 and 8, which is called 38 광땡, is the ultimate pair that nothing can beat. Thus, the first meaning of Ddaeng here would be translated into something like better or invincible.
Random thought. Okay, first of all, let me say, based on this already, that me reading the notes in dual set and understanding and trying to really dig deep, I think this is going to be a reiteration of that. And if that's the case, and I already kind of got it through dual set, awesome. But random thought while I'm watching this is a diss track. The depth of lyricism, the brilliance of the multiple meanings of Ddaeng. It was like 8 different ways, right? This should be like inspiration for all of us, that when we're clapping back against the haters, that we're outsmarting them. Outsmarting them. Yeah. There's a lot more that I want to say. Because lately with the Love Myself campaign, some of the stuff we've been watching together, we talked about end violence, talk about bullying, anti-bullying, and then all that kind of stuff. And this is like outsmarting the bullies, the haters. I really, really dig it.
Again in the chorus, the word Ddaeng is already used in 2 more different meanings. For these 2 lines, Ddaeng is used as the meaning of wrong, which originates from the imitation of a xylophone sound used in quiz shows or auditions when the participant is wrong or bad.
소나무 땡 땡 땡.
For this line, Ddaeng is used as the sound of a bell, and it also comes from a children's song called 학교 종이 땡땡땡. Regarding J-Hope mentioning homework in the next verse, there's a very high possibility that this line implies the meaning of go to school, kids.
Hip-hop, dang, rap star, dang, young rapper, dang, 방탄, dang, because you, bang, worldwide, bang.
The first lines of J-Hope's verse describe the criticism they received in the early ages about their hip-hop or rap style, or BTS being a flop. However, in the next lines, he explains that now they've become a worldwide bang, from a Ddaeng.
땡. 내가 보기에 너네는 땡. 우리 모두가 땡. 누가 끝발이 좋든 간에 나는 땡전혀 상관 안 해.
It kind of gets trickier in Suga's verse. The usage of Ddaeng is suddenly changed without any notice. The first
Ddaeng
indicate the meaning of wrong or nope, but when he says 누가 끝발이 좋던 간에, he suddenly jumps into the card game again. 끝발 is an everyday slang word for power/influence. When you see a very successful person, you would say something like 와 끝발 죽이네 or 끝발 날리네. This everyday slang word's origin comes from the card game 섰다 again. 끝 is a combination of cards equivalent to 1 point to 9 points. It's the most common pairs you will receive during a game. In contrast, a Ddaeng is above all 끝s. So that's what Suga is saying in his last lines. 나는 땡 전혀 상관 안 해. Which means, I'm a Ddaeng and I don't care about you lower class goods. So one more thing before we go into Arm's verse. Good has the same sound as good. Yeah. And this good means the end. Suga ends his verse by saying 계속 걱정해주길 good. It could be a double translation as continue worrying about us low pointers, losers, and continue worrying about us, the end. I'm out. Mic drop.
계속해 산소리 땡 어릴 적 좋아함 얼음 땡 난 띵동 넌 땡 넌 칠끝 난 땡 라면 먹고 잔 얼굴 땡 떨거지들 두열 땡날 반한 네 얼땡 네가 쩔어 뭐죠 개얼땡
Now press
Oh, so sick. Ooh. See, whatever that audio was coming from, I want to hear that. You know how clean that was? And one thing I've noticed lately, and I haven't commented on this, but I'm noticing more and more that when BTS is on the mic, yeah, there's a little bit of reverb there, but they're so close to the mic that you can hear the purity of their voice. Think about, not a lot of artists are doing that. Well, let me rephrase that. I have no idea if anybody's doing it or not. It could be completely common across the board. But I listen to a ton of music, and I have only noticed this with BTS recently. I could be way off, but I'm noticing it, and I like it.
Personally, RM's part is the apex of this whole song. It's because in one single verse, he uses 7 different usages of Ddaeng. The first line, 캐셔 계산.
Did you hear that line? Yep. Yeah, buddy. He deserves it.
소리 땡 is literally the sound of the cashier opening, which could also imply that he has a lot of money now. And the second line, 어릴 적 좋아함 얼음 땡, is a Korean version of tag. It's when kids run away, they shout 얼음, which is freeze, to get immune from the catcher, and then another survivor can come along and tag the frozen person, saying 땡, which unleashes him from the frozen state. And third, 난 딩동, 넌 땡, means I'm correct and you're wrong. And fourth, 넌 칠끝, 난 땡, is again referenced from the card game. You might be a 7-pointer, but I'm above that tier. Fifth, 라면 먹고 잔 얼굴 땡 comes from the expression 땡땡 부었다. It's a fun way to describe your face is swollen after you've eaten ramen last night. 6. 떨거지들 do your thing. 날 봐, 난 네 air thing. RM is now playing with language now. The pronunciation of Ddaeng is similar to thang, which is the slang of thing in English. Last but not least, 7th, 네가 쩔어, 멋져, 개얼탱. RM finally uses another similar sound, 탱, to make it rhyme with Ddaeng. 얼탱이 없다 is a slang for 어이가 없다, which means dumbfounded.
어이가 없네.
Phew, so basically I would summarize this song as genius wordplay and rhythmical onomatopoeia.
So we're spot on. Now, granted, I didn't figure that out. We read it on DualSet, but this is just a visual representation of Ddaeng.
The repetitive Ddaeng sound makes the song much more rhythmical and addictive, whereas the various meanings of Ddaeng constantly changing throughout the song make it hard for foreigners or average people to understand, but at the same time makes it genius for a rap lyric.
우린 celebrate 아직 excel no break 네가 뭔데 날 인정해 이름값 하는 개구리들 응원 안 해주기를 간절히 기도할게
We celebrate rather than being a celebrity. This line shows BTS's attitude or mentality of being a celebrity in a nutshell. It's not about being special or enjoying the spotlight. It's about sharing and returning the love they received by celebrating together.
이름값 하는 개구리들 응원 안 해주기를
이름값 하는 개구리들 우물 안에 죽기를. This is a reference from a Korean saying called 우물안 개구리, which means a frog is stuck in a well and he thinks that well is his whole world. Thus, he's very narrow-sighted and he thinks he's the best inside that small world. 개구리 usually just means frog, but in this case, I think there's a hidden double meaning inside it, saying 개구리다, which is a slang for fucking lame or foul. I think RM is addressing to the haters in Korea who think they're the best with their own lame songs in this small country. He's saying they should die in this small well called Korea without even having the...
This just occurred to me. I'm going to ask you to do something, but I'm going to put a disclaimer in front of it, so listen closely. Hopefully by now I've made it clear that I depend on you to give me your side of things. Sometimes that's an opinion. Sometimes it's how your perception or your perspective on X, Y, or Z, whatever. And sometimes it's very simple, like, hey, when did BTS debut? And then you throw the answer in the comments. I count on you for that. I don't know, in my 3 or 4 months of doing this, I don't think there's been one... Like, there's diss tracks, and there's, you know, the usual smack talk that happens back and forth between artists. But has there ever been a time when BTS... like specifically aggressively went on the offense? They were calling somebody out particularly. And I don't mean like as a rebuttal. Like somebody called out BTS and BTS came back. No, I'm talking about, has BTS been the one to start that argument? Does that make sense? I'm curious. Because I haven't heard it. I haven't seen it yet. But again, I'm toddler army at this point. And that's only because you guys send me stuff. Look at that wall back there. I got Judy.
Opportunity to see the big world outside, where BTS is now using as a stage. Last but not least, as a director's commentary, I would like to point out the fact that despite this song being a diss track, there is actually no real hate or toxic cursing inside, but rather BTS chooses to play around playfully with the word Ddaeng in a teasing manner and swaggering about their current success. For me, this is the point that sets apart this song from all other diss tracks. Low negativity, but comic and satirical high self-esteem.
Low negativity, you hear that? They're taking their position and their swag, right? And very brilliantly putting themselves up on this pedestal. Like, this is how good we are. It's implied at that point that everybody else is down here. That's a diss track. It's part of the game. But they're doing it in a very low negativity fashion without clapping back specifically at this artist and this artist and this artist. Now, sometimes I know that has been warranted, which is why I'm very particular about asking you. BTS was the one who started the argument. They were the first ones to kind of fire that shot across the bow. Does that make sense? So, So again, this just confirms everything that we read on Dual Set about the brilliance of this. Now, it has less to do with the card game than I thought, but it's still just as brilliantly intertwined with the meanings of Ddaeng. That's brilliant. Okay, we have another version of Ddaeng, but this one is the it also has the vocal line. Let's make sure we're not in potato mode. 4K? Yeah, we'll see about that. Let's go 1080. Quasi potato. Let me give you the bigger captions. Yeah. What am I doing? I'm just pressing buttons here.
Hip-hop 랩설 래퍼
Now that's a fan chant I can get behind. Just yelling "dang" every 8 seconds.
전슈 worldwide 차두이 Come on AP 총집 누군가의 dreamlight How about you I like you 이성공 네 덕분
Jin.
역시 내 깨지게 솔직해지들이게
See, I gotta try to stop reading the lyrics. I know the lyrics. I want to see what they're doing. I didn't even realize that was Jin just now. I'm going back.
Let's go. Let's walk, two, three, let's go. Hip hop, 랩설, 래퍼, 방탄, 전슈, worldwide, 차두이, Come on, AP, 총집, 누군가의 dreamlight. How about you? I like you. 이성공, 네 덕분. 역시 내 깨지. 솔직해지들이게. 차분히 생각해, yeah. 시간을 막히야, yeah. 이건 술제야, 정죄, yeah. 뭐 불법이 먼저는 let's go. 엘파, 엘사, 사파, 대, 유로, 리와, 샬바, 대, 아키종, 올려라, 대, 야, 이번 생은 그런 생각, 대, 엘파, 엘사, 사파, 대, 유로, 리와, 샬바, 대, 야가만, 멈춰봐.
우리 모두 끝에 누가 끝발이 좋던 간에 난 땡긴 상관하네.
I feel like Tay missed an opportunity here. He could have done a solo version of this. Same lyrics, but with a little added swag, like V style, and called it Tang. What? Microphone. Yeah, come on.
무시해주고다 덕분에 터집던 멜버드 맞는 것을 덕분에 많이 넣어줘 근데 내 사채거든아 너네 갖고 되게 우리 앞으로 바람대로 더 뻥하죠 엘파 엘사 사파 대 유라 리바 잡아 대 학교종 올려라 대 이번 생인 그릇은 넌 엘파 엘사 사파 대 유라 잡아 잠깐만 멈춰봐 이번 생은 글러서 너도
계속의 산소리탄 나를 정조함 하는 난 생존 넌 짱, 넌 체크 난 땡. 라면 먹고 잔 얼굴 딸거지들 두 열땡 나 원하는 얼땡 네가 처럼 먼저 내 얼땡
얼탱이가 앞서 말을 걷다더만 너 양해를 쫙쫙 말할게 난 주변 편이 좀 부족해 그래도 또 많은 다른 애기 자꾸 비들어라 너무 좋았어 너무 좋았어 헤이로는 없는 래퍼들은 좀 닥쳐 너의 헤이로가 어딨어 멋있고 사소한 네 거울을 봐거기 숨쉬고 있는 너의 헤이로 우리 셀럽보다 셀러브레이트
See, this is the part that jumped out at me, and now I'm realizing the version that I listened to that wasn't the live was the vocal line, because JK stuck out to me, and this is why. He was stuttering while he was rapping. But like purposefully, so we're clear. I want a rogue so hard right now. Do you see what's on the screen? Look at this down here, this little thumbnail. BTS Dionysus and Not Today live performance. Now, Dionysus, I've only heard through Beat Saber. That was my 800 subscriber song or something like that. And Not Today, we know well. But it's live, and there's very clearly this whole choreography thing going on that, ooh, that's tempting. But we got to focus because we have another one. See, I don't know if this is really going to fit here. I guess it is. Okay, so this last one, still digging into Ddaeng, is a bomb BTS prom party from the live that I watched in earlier. Not this last one, the one before that. It's behind the scenes. Okay.
내가 보기에 너네는 땡. 우리 모두가 땡. 누가 끝발이 좋던 간에 나는 땡전에 상관하네. honey honey 이 음악은 동의하고 왜 알코올이겠지만 네 주장이 다 맞아 우리 망해가고 있는 불본 네 덕분이야 우리 왜 아무도 없네 우리 망해가고 있기에 고맙다 같이 건 무시해줘 고맙다 덕분에 스타디움 넌 밀보다 많은 것을 덕분에 머니도 얻었다 제가 내 사칭
Sugar says, having too many sounds from an 808 source. It's rather... So an 808, like an 808 clap, like in the music is clap. It's like a snare. And he's talking about snares, but in 808, I don't even know if I could... Yeah, it sounds like a clap. He's saying there's too many. I don't know if it's being distracting away from the lyrics. And see, that's... see, now I have to go back and kind of... Oh, see, this is why it's good to follow up. Because initially I had said, musically, it's just kind of, okay, it's there. It's a framework. With a song like this, you have to do that. Well, have to. It's smart that they did it because the real meat of this is the lyrics. If there's so much crazy stuff going on musically, it's going to take away from the lyrics. And I think that's what Sugar's saying. It's like there's a lot of 808s and snares and claps that it's distracting from the lyrics.
그래도 후반부인데 너무 죽나 싶어가지고
약간 그런 것 같긴 해. 약간 그런.
드럼이
전반적으로 나는 소스가 바뀌어 좀 심심해졌어.
드럼이 다 빠지니까 고기가 약간 좀.
뭐 어떤 소스가 바뀐 거예요?
킥 바뀌었지, 스네어 바뀌었지, 크러쉬 바뀌었지.
여기는 괜찮아?
산이 여기서 정도는 나와야 텐션이.
See, this is pacing. We've talked about this. I'm really enjoying this already. This is what I should have done, period. This is talking about pacing. He's talking about keeping the tension. You have to be very particular on where you're putting, like, the snares that Sugar's talking about. This little, this crash cymbal that RM's talking about, to keeping that pacing, keeping the tension of the song. Hope he's just happy to be here.
celebrate 계속 celebrate 이분들 날 인정해 이름값 하는 개구리들 응원해주기를
깔려있는 제가 그 더블링 거의 안 깔았잖아요. 그래서 더블링의 공간감이 좀 있어야 돼요. 어쨌든 집중해서 들으라고 이렇게 쓰긴 했는데 다 지루할 수가 있으니까 이 벌스를 보니까 별로 수상할 거 없을 것 같은데 너 먼저 얘기해라.
야머 AP 종집 누군가의 dream life How about you I like you.
See, as an artist, you can get it really far, but it takes outsider ears most of the time because you get really close to it. You wrote it, you recorded it, you listened to it, you edit it, like all this kind of stuff that you could have your fingers in, and then you get really close, and then a lot of times you don't see little intricacies that other people are like, whoa, that's glaring. How did you miss that? It takes an outsider sometimes. So like, for instance, if J-Hope is listening to his part right now, he's going to hear certain things, certain pickups and inflections that he's aware of, and that's where his focus goes. But it'll take somebody like RM or Suga or the editor, the producer, to say, well, wait a second, let's look at this part that J-Hope may not have caught because he's too close to it.
혹시 그 더블링들 그냥 공간이 빼주실 수 있나요? 빼면 너무 어떻게 할까요?
솔직히 쟤들이 더블링들
네, 좀 그럴 것 같기는 해.
뭔가 공간계가 들어가니까 약간 좀 이상하던데.
힙합 땡 랩스타 땡 young rapper 땡 방탄 땡 but 현실 땡 worldwide 땡 chadwick 땡 땡 땡 야머 AP 종집 누군가의 dream life How about you I like you 이성경 네 덕분
저는 뭐 워워워워 이것만 되면 될 것 같아요.
그거 확인해.
나머지는 다 오케이.
Nice.
오케이.
첫 벌스다 보니까 너무 과하게 뭔가.
너 지금 되게 충분해.
깔끔한 것 같아.
너가 잘해서 내가 약간 문제라.
I gotta get my pocket Jimin. Just boop, boop, boop. Give him a little pat on the head because he's so friggin' adorable. Now, you can call this silly if you want, but you see what they're doing? When I was a kid, I was doing this kind of stuff. I'm a performer, obviously. Look at me. Drama kid is more like it. Point being, a lot of kids do this. They pretend like they're singing or dancing to the millions of people that love them, showering down roses and underwear and stuff. If you're from the Tom Jones era, I guess. But there's something to be said for this, because this is what we call visualization we talked about. You have to visualize yourself doing that thing, and then it makes it easier to do that thing. So even right now, yeah, he's seeing what he looks like. He's probably checking some of his pacing or his timing. But there's this level of pre-visualization that's happening, so when he gets out there, he kind of understands. Like, it's almost like he's been there. You visualize it in your brain, and then when you get there, it seems kind of familiar. It's not such a culture shock that it knocks you off your game. Now, I don't know what Jimin's doing back there. I can't defend that. Now, I think what would also make a lot of sense to me right here is that when I say they're checking the timing and pacing, so they're having fun, but I'm sure they're kind of imagining that they're on stage doing it. They might discover while doing this that, hypothetically, the section of the song between the second verse and the third verse is too short, or it's too long, or they feel like for too long it was repetitive, so they have to add something to snap you out of it, to snap you out of that tedium, or who knows. Doing things like this help you find that, as opposed to sitting in the editing room and going over and over and over again. Nice.
Bang, bang,
너는 땡 우리 모두가 땡 누굴 그 팔이 조성가네 나만 대체로 살아가는데 하늘배 이 음악은 동이야 내 아이돌이 겠지만 내 주장이 담아져 우리 망해가고 있는 그래 보내는 뿐이 앞에 우리 왜 아무도 없네 우리 망해가고 있는 It's going to 원다고 다시 자극도 모든 것을 덕분에 많이 얻었다 내 친구들아 나는 갖고 퇴근 우리 앞으로 바래 내가 또 하나 되겠어
우리 좋아하는 난 띵동 넌 친구 나만 먹고 잔 얼굴 떨거지들 구욕 나 원하는 땡이가 저 뭐죠 너무 엇쟁이가 없어 말이 듣던 부모도 연애를 좀 버리게 명이 좀 부족해 그래도 너 말해도 안에 내기를 너무 좋았어 다시 좋았어 너는 래퍼들 좀 닥쳐 너의 헤이터가 어딨어 부시고 소소한 니고 우바로 숨쉬는 바로 너의 노래 우리는 celebrate 악성 노래 네가 보는 남의 정해 이런 거 하나님 우리들 그만의 주기를 가지고 기도할게 엘사 사바 땡 유버 위바 자와 땡 하지마 올려라 땡 이번 생은 그것은 너 땡 엘사 사바 땡 유버 위바 자와 땡 지금아 보지마 땡 이번 생은 그것은 너
All right, so that was the behind the scenes for the BTS prom party for Ddaeng. And we dug in a little deeper, didn't we? Really, again, pretty much confirmed what we learned on Dual Set. Heard the vocal line, well, saw the vocal line, Ddaeng this time. And then saw the behind the scenes. So that is more Ddaeng. Now you're probably thinking, dang, that's a lot of Ddaeng.